We are in the Carrier Dome where number 10 Syracuse just defeated number 7 Notre Dame 10-6. The win marks the Orange's 900th in program history, making Syracuse the second program to ever have 900 wins, following Johns Hopkins, which has 977. Syracuse held Notre Dame to 0 for 8 on the man up today, and Notre Dame turned the ball over 16 times and was stuffed by Syracuse's Don Madonna 13 times. Madonna had 13 saves on the night. Syracuse had 3 goal scorers score multiple goals, all with 2. Nate Solomon, Jamie Trimboli, and Brendan Bomberry all added 2 goals for the Orange, while Notre Dame had just 1 goal scorer with multiple goals in Brian Willits. The game was close through the first half, but Syracuse pulled away in the second half, outscoring Notre Dame 5-1 in the second half, and Notre Dame couldn't keep up with Syracuse in the end.
Denver defeats Georgetown 6-5 in Washington, D.C. It was the fewest goals Denver has scored since Coach Bill Tierney arrived at the school in 2010, but they made it work, mostly behind senior Trevor Baptiste and a very strong defense. Baptiste won 12 of 15 faceoffs and added a goal to start a fourth-quarter rally, and the defense held Georgetown scoreless for the final 16 minutes, 47 seconds. Georgetown senior Craig Burge played every offensive shift, all 20 of them, finished with 3 goals and 1 assist, but it wasn't enough. The Hoyas had a chance to tie with 8 seconds left, down by a goal, but generated only a shot from about 30 yards by Burge that was saved as time expired. Final score, Denver 6, Georgetown 5.
Here in Ann Arbor, where Maryland defeated Michigan by a score of 13-5. It was a 6-5 game midway through the third quarter when Maryland went on a 7-0 run to close out the game. The two big stars for Maryland so far on offense this year, Bernhardt and Kelly, were held very quiet. Shot just combined 1 for 17 with 2 man-up assists, both from Connor Kelly. It was really the guys who had been the supporting cast stepped up for them. Logan Wisnauskas had 3 goals and 2 assists. Bubba Fairman had a hat trick, and Colin Giblin had 2 goals and an assist. Defensively, Young and Corley did a great job of shutting down the Michigan attack, held them to just 1 assist, which had been a big part of some of their previous wins, the production from that attack unit. Dan Morris was huge in the cage for Maryland, had 10 saves while allowing just the 5 goals. And for Michigan, freshman Connor Cronin was able to get the better of Justin Shockey. Cronin went 13 of 22 and really allowed Michigan to stay in this one early.
Kyle Doe from Inside the Cross coming to you live from Dartmouth, New Hampshire, where the Big Red put a big hurt on the Big Green. 22-11 is your final here. Cornell shot out to a 15-2 lead in the first 2 quarters, due in large part to their midfield. Connor Fletcher having a huge game, putting up 4 goals and 2 assists. Jason Dowiak with 5 goals, including an amazing low-to-high finish on the low wing. Jeff Teed only played 5 minutes into the second half, finished with 4 assists. Dartmouth, not to be outdone, scored the majority of their goals in the second half, didn't give up, kept coming, kept being in it for the fight at home, but it fell in the end to Cornell, who looks to be the class of the Ivy League and an absolutely unstoppable offense, putting up 20 goals for the 3rd game in a row this season.
Hey guys, Dan Arestia here. I'm up at Yale, where we just watched the Bulldogs take down Penn by a final score of 12-6. The big scorer in this one was Jack Ty for Yale. He had 4 goals and an assist. Got it started early with this sweep across the top, and then followed that up a few minutes later with a nice underneath dodge where he beat a short stick from the wing. He and Joey Sessa and other players in this Yale midfield were a problem all day for the Penn defense, especially those short stick D-middies. For Penn, the offense was a real struggle today. They couldn't really find a matchup they could win. Riley Hupfeld had a nice highlight in the third quarter with a bar-down rocket, but otherwise, this Penn offense just couldn't make that Yale defense uncomfortable. Jack Starr made some really nice saves in the fourth quarter to preserve a lead, and Reed Junkin actually had a spectacular save in the third quarter on Brendan Rudy at the doorstep that got some oohs and ahs from the crowd. Penn has now lost 2 straight in Ivy League play. They'll play Brown next weekend. Yale takes on Bucknell in a big-time game on Wednesday night on the short week. Stay tuned for that.
It was the Keegan Khan show for Villanova in a dominant win at Marquette. The Wildcats won 14-9 in Big East play indoors. The freshman Khan had 7 goals, keying a Villanova run in which the Wildcats scored 8 straight over a 14-minute stretch. Connor Kirst and Devin McNamara each had a pair of goals, but Khan was the star. The midfielder has been key for Villanova's success this year, but as teams continue to key on Christian Cuccinella, his production has skyrocketed. He had 6 goals and a win last week against Fairfield. The injury-depleted Wildcats keep rolling and are now 8-2 overall and have won their Big East opener. John Clue returned from his latest knee injury, drawing a penalty on his first shift on the field. Marquette's Johnny Wagner had a hat trick, and Zach Millerlow returned from injury to win 17 of 25 faceoffs for Marquette.
Hunter Brasington reporting for Inside Lacrosse, coming to you from Nickerson Field at Boston University. Today's Patriot League contest between Lehigh and BU came down to the wire with the Mountain Hawks coming away with a 1-goal win. Lehigh went into the half with a 2-goal lead thanks to a late goal from Andrew Eichelberg. The Terriers would get back into this one thanks to 4 unanswered goals, taking a 2-goal lead. But it would be Lehigh that would throw the last punch on a 3-goal run of their own, capped off by Mickey Fitzpatrick's game-winning goal.
Bucknell finds itself in the driver's seat in the Patriot League at 5-1, along with Lehigh and Navy. The Bison beat Army 10-7, pulling away with a run in the fourth quarter on Saturday. Reed Malice had a hat trick and has 9 points in the last 2 games. And Will Sands continues a Player of the Year type season with 2 goals and 2 assists. He's the 6th Bucknell player ever to net 100 career goals. Army started 3-0 in a physical Patriot League contest, but goalie Charlie Klipstein kept Bucknell in it with 7 of his 9 saves coming in the first half. Next up for Bucknell is a chance at a top 5 opponent when they travel to Yale on Wednesday.
Terry Foy, Inside Lacrosse here for the Epic IL Game Day recap with Anish Shroff and Quint Kesnick. After Duke's 11-10 win over North Carolina, Anish, we're going to start with you. What did you think was the key to the game?
A couple things. One, I thought Duke getting goals off of faceoffs were big. I thought their faceoff unit the last couple of weeks, big point of improvement. I thought Stein was terrific, 13 out of 19 or whatever it was. And then they solved Carolina's zone offense. Struggled early. After a while, they figured it out. They only needed 2 guys today, Brad Smith and Justin Gutterning, but 2 was enough.
And Quinn, I was really impressed by what I saw out of Carolina, particularly their toughness down the stretch. If you're Joe Bresci, your team, 5-game losing streak, 6-5, your future is still in front of you. What are you saying to your squad in the locker room after the game?
This is the second best that Carolina's looked this season. The first was a win at Johns Hopkins. This will go down as a loss, but they played better. The zone looked good. It was solid. They're picking off passes. They finally got goaltending behind it. Basile was very good. Face-off still a work in progress, and they're spending far too much time playing defense. And then offensively, Chris Cloutier, what can you say? Magic, timely goals, power. He was terrific. I think long term, if Tanner Cook in that first midfield, got to get that first midfield humming a little better.
And ultimately for Carolina, does the season come down to their game against Virginia?
Yes. I think it does. That's what we talked about on the air. I think the loser of that game doesn't get in the ACC tournament and likely definitely out of the NCAA tournament.
One more thing about this game, unbelievable crowd. Happy Hour Lacrosse is a success. Can we say that definitively?
I didn't sense it coming in, but I looked around, I'm like, wow, this is the biggest crowd I've ever seen at Duke.
It was awesome. It was awesome. So hopefully you're able to check that out on ESPNU.
Wait a minute.
Wait, we got more?
Wait. Did you see this? There's no. You're going to just let this go? You're going to let this go?
It's a good shirt for this time of year.
Yellow and blue make green. Happy Easter, Quinn.
Happy Easter, everybody.
A 7-1 run to close the game provided the distance Virginia needed to top in-state foe Richmond 14-10. Michael Krause continued his scoring tear, dropping 4 goals and 1 assist in the win. Alex Rode came up with 13 stops in the frenetic action. Penn State got a dominant win to start conference play, 12-4 over Ohio State. Behind Jared Arceri's 13-20 performance at the faceoff X and Colby Neese's 16 saves, the Nittany Lions didn't afford the Buckeyes many opportunities. Offensively, Penn State was led by Ryan Keenan's hat trick and Kevin Hill's 2-2 day. Missing Connor Fields and Justin Ray from the lineup, Albany took care of business in the conference with a 13-7 win over Stony Brook. Tahoka Nanticoke conducted the offense, finishing with 2 goals and 3 assists. Kyle McClancy added a hat trick. T.D. Erlin went an absurd 24 of 24 at the draw. In a nip-and-tuck shootout, Brown got the last word, as Michael Penapinto scored with 14 seconds left to put the Bears ahead of Princeton 14-13 in a key Ivy League win. Goalies Tyler Blaisdell and Phil Goss dueled each other, each posting 17 saves. Led by a stellar defensive performance, Hofstra asserted itself in the CAA with a 9-3 win over Towson. Ryan Tierney had 4 goals and 1 assist in the victory. The Bulldogs showed why they've been the team to beat in the NEC as Bryant downed Robert Morris 10-7 Friday night. Bounds scoring and a 2-1 face-off edge led the way in the win.
So that'll do it for this edition of the Epic IL Game Day Recap. Make sure to check out the Epic IL scoreboard all season long. It is the best place to stay up to date on scores and stats and results from the games throughout the country. And make sure to check out epiclacrosse.com for more from our friends from Minnesota. And on this Easter Sunday, I want to give a special tip of the cap and bon voyage to Zach Babbo, Inside Lacrosse's multimedia manager for the past 4 years, who's made this Game Day Recap project his baby every week during the season. He's done a tremendous job bringing you a short, condensed, abbreviated summary of the weekend in college lacrosse. We are all indebted to his long hours and creative and dogged work ethic. Zach, we're going to miss you. We appreciate all you've done, and best of luck in your next adventure.